everyone, this is Julie from the Yuma Main Library, and today I wanted to share with you a fun way to get creative by showing you how to create blackout poetry. So you may be wondering, what is blackout poetry? The writer Austin Kleon describes it best. Blackout poetry is sort of like if the CIA did a haiku. Blackout poetry is a form of found poetry where you use a marker to black out or erase words from an existing text. This kind of poetry involves taking an original piece of text and creating something completely new from it. These are two examples of blackout poetry created by Austin Kleon, which he created using newspapers and a black marker. However, blackout poetry can be whatever the artist or writer wants it to be. This kind of poetry evolved from a variety of art techniques and traditions. It is reminiscent of Dada poetry, best exemplified by the Dada artist Tristan Tzara, who in the 1910s and 1920s would pull scraps of paper with lines of text from a hat to create poems. It also falls in line with the cut-up method, developed and used by the writers and artists William S. Burroughs and Brian Gysin, and it shares the greatest similarity to the work by artist Tom Phillips, who used the pages of a novel to create his artwork around selected words from the pages. So let's get started. You will need any kind of printed material like newspapers, magazines, or old books that you want to use as a source text. You will also need a pencil to select your words and phrases you want to include in your poem. And then you'll need pens or markers to black out the text you do not want to use. You can use a black marker or select a variety of colors depending on your preference. If you prefer, you can use paint instead of pens or markers to cover the text. Finally, you'll need a pair of scissors to be able to cut out the piece of text that you've decided to use for your poem. Begin by selecting the printed material you want to use as your source text. You can use anything you like, such as a newspaper or magazine article, or you could even use an old book and create a whole collection of blackout poems within its pages. The point is to select something you can get inspired by. For my poem, I will be using an article from a newspaper. So I'm going to begin by blocking out the section I'm going to be working with just to make it easier on me. So now that you have that section blocked out, you'll want to skim through the text and begin picking out words or phrases that catch your eye. Blackout poetry is what you make it, so it can follow the theme of the original text or have nothing to do with it. It can rhyme or not. It is all up to you. As you skim, you can lightly circle or underline the words you want to use, or you can jot down notes on a blank sheet of paper. Now that you have selected some words and phrases, read over them again. Check to see if the words flow and sound how you want them to. You can cross out words that you no longer need or add words that you might have missed before. If you can't find a word you need to complete your poem, you can create it by boxing off portions of other existing words around it. Once you are satisfied with the words you have selected and with how the poem sounds, it's time to black out the rest of the text. You can take a black pen or marker to go over the boxes you drew with your pencil to separate the words that will remain after you have blacked out the rest of the text. At this point, you can either take your black marker and cross out everything you didn't box out for the traditional style of blackout poetry, or you can draw doodles and designs around your selected words that go along with your poem. You can even choose to paint over the text you are crossing out to get even more creative. Once you've blacked out the unwanted text, you've completed your poem. If you like, you can glue your work onto a sheet of cardstock or construction paper to display it. There are many ways you can be creative with this style of poetry. The important thing is to remember to have fun with it. If you're interested in learning more about writing and poetry, take a look at our collection for some more resources. You can find these titles in our physical and digital collections. Thank you for joining us today.